What's up, everybody? Welcome to Just Because Gaming. My name is Mike,
And I'm Ray.
and thank you for joining us. As always, before we get into it, just please hit that like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, do whatever. And with that being said, let's jump into it.
All right. Well, we're going to talk some about what happened at the Game Awards. Most of you have hopefully had a chance to watch it by now. I know I had to watch it in segments because being 3 hours long plus another half hour for the pre-game or pre-show, that was just a lot. I had to break it up. I think live I watched maybe the pre-show part, and then when it started to get into the actual Game Awards, I'm like, nah, I got work tomorrow. I'll come back and watch some more later. And I think it took me a whole 3 days to really watch all of it.
Yeah, it was kind of the same thing. I was essentially at the very beginning, I was streaming it live, and I'm not gonna lie, I I kind of fell asleep during it. Just because it's the funny thing is, I didn't fall asleep when they were doing the awards part. I fell asleep during all the game presentations because I don't know if you got that same vibe, but or for anybody that was watching, but I felt like the actual game awards took a back seat to all the advertising for like new and upcoming games. I felt like it was 70% commercials for games, and then the other 30% was just like awards. And even out of that, only it seemed like only a handful of times they went and actually like announced it on stage and allowed people to like walk up the stage and thank people, because like when you think about like the Oscars or the music awards or whatever, they say it, they walk up to the stage, they thank their mom and God and everything, and then they're like, thank you for making this happen and blah 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 blah. But for the majority of the time, like the host, he would just like do a quick like speed read, and he'd be like, oh, and the best audio is blank, the best gameplay is blank, the best whatever is blank,
Yeah.
congratulations.
They hit like 5 awards in a row, like bat, 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 bat. But
Yeah,
then they'd do that for some of the, I guess, bigger awards or what they consider the bigger awards. They'd have, yeah, come up on stage. We'll actually hand you a trophy. It's like, at least, be off on the side, handing the trophy to have those 5 people lined up or something. And here's your trophy. Here's your trophy. Yeah. If you got to speed it up for time, I get that, but
yeah,
still show them,
yeah.
hand them the award. Maybe they don't get to speak at the mic or I don't know, but still,
Yeah, what they could have easily done is they could have had a couple different people with microphones. So it'd be like, they cut to person A and they're like, "Oh, and for the winner of, best, choreographed whatever combat in a game, that goes to this winner." And they could have been standing right next to them and just hand it to them. And then they could cut to like person B and they'd be like, "Oh, and, for the best, and for this award for blah 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 blah, that goes to this person." And then they again be standing next to them while like the people are sitting down, and just hand the award to them, just so they could get like, even if it's 3 seconds of camera time, just so they could be like waving and holding their award and be like, thanks. But I feel like there was so little pomp and circumstance that it didn't even feel like an award show. It felt like a developer direct where they just mentioned some awards that people have won,
right.
That's how I felt about it. It was weird.
But I have to admit, they did have some good trailers and some things that, were really worth watching. The production of this show was probably the best I've seen of it. I mean, I really liked the way their stage was set up. Just the lighting effects, all that kind of stuff there was done really well. Even the whole Miss Piggy thing was kind of funny, but I could have done without it. But I mean, it was there. But they did have some really good games. Like I think it was in the pre-show that they announced, or it was the very first thing they showed was the Fate of the Old Republic, the new Star Wars teaser that they put out there. God, I wanted to see more of that. But that really
Mhm.
looked interesting. I
Yeah.
can't I love the Old Republic, and I love the fact that the guy that's doing that did the Old Republic games, worked on Mass Effect. So story-wise, I'm expecting great things from this game.
For the I keep wanting to say Knights of the Old Republic. For the Fate of the Old Republic, yeah,
Right.
it was definitely an amazing trailer. But honestly, the overabundance of trailers is where I kind of trailed off, and there were multiple times where I started dozing off and I started falling asleep. I was like, dude, I get it. It looks cool, but
Yeah.
I'm
Well, there
kind
were a
of
lot of
done.
small games, that they had trailers for. I'm sure there's some of these are indie games and things like that, and, yeah, they paid to put their games out there, I'm sure they're making money off of each one, but Yeah, like, I'm like you, I'm like, "I'm not interested in this." I'm tuning out until they got something pops up that might grab my attention, and I'm fast forwarding because that's the nice thing about watching it when it's being streamed later. I can skip over some of this stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I
the best way to do it.
I did end up doing that later. Like, I watched some of it until I fell asleep watching it and just turned it off, and then I
Right.
watched the rest the day after, and yeah, I mean, it was cool. One of my favorite non-ad parts to it was kinda the catty little back talk from the new Street Fighter movie people.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it was really cool because
And I really like the casting for this. I think they did a good job with casting the people, and especially, Momoa as Blanca. I think that's gonna be awesome.
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm really glad that he's able to be Blanca for that. Like, I have heard that he actually, like, pitched that hard, like, "Dude, I wanna be Blanca."
Right?
And, even some of the WWE people, like, there's this guy in WWE, he's known as Roman Reigns, but he's the one playing, Akuma, who is, like, the secret final boss. Because there's
Mm.
the main boss, and then I forget what the stipulations are. If people know in the comments, please let us know. But, yeah, there's certain stipulations that you have to meet. I don't know if it's, like, you have to get all A or S ranks in the matches to unlock like an extra bonus match, and it's Akuma. Seeing him as Akuma was really cool. The only problem that I've ever had with Street Fighter, especially the Street Fighter movies, is the main boss. Like, if you're thinking Mortal Kombat, think Shang Tsung. The main boss for Street Fighter and the
It's
movies,
Bison, right?
yeah,
That's
M.
the main boss.
Bison. They always make him look so wimpy. But like if you see in the game, M. Bison's just ripped.
Right.
And in both the movies, both the one that was from I think like the 90s and this one, it's just these skinny dudes. And like before from the one from the 90s, it was the same guy who plays in Adam's Family, and he's not like a muscular guy. And then this time it's a comedian, Like it's not his first, journey into kind of cartoonish land because he was actually I think it was Captain Polka Dot or whatever in
Oh,
Suicide
yeah.
Squad.
Yeah, I remember.
So I mean, he's definitely used to that scene, in that environment. So that's cool. But it's just being the main boss of a fighting video game who is like, 99% muscle and just jacked as all hell. It's like that is so distracting for me. So
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna put like a muscle suit on him or something. But from the
That
pictures
could
that
be.
I've seen, he just looks like some nerdy office guy. You know?
But also, I mean, the cool thing about these movies are that they don't take themselves too serious. I mean, it might be a bad movie, but still extremely entertaining. Some of the best movies I've ever watched were bad movies. Big Trouble in Little China. It's not a good movie. Great fun to watch, though. I love watching that one. The original Mortal Kombat movies series, a lot of those are really bad. The acting in them is not great, but they're a fun watch. So,
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping for out of this, a fun watch.
Yeah.
But, yeah, of course, we had a bunch of other trailers, some that we'd seen before, like Pragmata. I think we'd seen that trailer at a previous event or something, but it still looks interesting to me. The one, though, that really caught everybody off guard, which maybe they should have put like some kind of a age warning, because I know you've got small children. I don't know if they watched any of this with you, but the one that was Divinity that was tied to the statue in the Mojave Desert,
Yeah.
that was gruesome.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
very adult content game, which, cool, but maybe not for all audiences. And maybe some disclaimer should have been put out there, or maybe it was and I just missed it.
A warning, this, or it could have said like in the very beginning, rated M for mature or whatever. But
Right.
but yeah. Yeah, I was very curious about what that desert butthole statue was. And so, it was nice to have an answer to that. But I don't know. It wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought it was going to be for like an existing game and, or not an existing game, but like an existing series
Well, it
type
is.
thing.
This is the second in the Divinity series. So there already is a Divinity. This is Divinity 2. So there is an existing game. I never played the first one, so I have to maybe look into that.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I thought it was a new game, like, I don't know.
I'd heard of
But
it. I just never got around to playing it. It's, kind of similar to a Baldur's Gate type gameplay, from what I understand.
Well, if anybody watching the video, played the first one, let us know how it was, if it's worth going back to. I don't even know when the first game would have came out. It was so under my radar.
Right, right.
So yeah, anybody that knows about it, please let us know in the comments so we'll know whether to, go back and play it.
Absolutely. Now, of course, everybody knows Expedition 33 took Game of the Year, 9 separate awards, Best Performance, Best Indie Game, Best, I don't remember what else was. The music, of course, won an award, which that was definitely deserving. I thought I think they had 3 people for the voice actor that were up for the award, all from Expedition 33. Although I find it hard to believe that they could beat Troy Baker out for playing Indy because that was so good. But I get it. Voice acting really was good in Expedition 33 as well.
Yeah, it was so hard to take that seriously because of their little French get-ups. I mean, I understand they're like a majority French studio, but it's like, dude, it's like that is so I almost feel like it's racist, Like when you think like of a racist image of a French person, like that's basically what they dressed up as,
All they needed was the mime makeup. That would have been perfect.
Like it would be the same as if there was a South American or like Mexican studio and they all dressed up in ponchos and wore sombreros and like had tequila. It's like, dude, no, don't do that.
Another thing that they showed, which I was really surprised to see, was there's 2 Tomb Raider games coming. One, which is a remake of like the very first Tomb Raider game, the what do they call it? Legacy of Atlantis. That's what it is. Looked like a really well done version. It still looks, modernized, but looks more like the original Laura costume wise and all that. And then they're going to have Tomb Raider Catalyst, which is like the next one in the revamped Tomb Raider series, which also looked really good. I've enjoyed the Tomb Raider games. I don't know if you played all of them yet, Mike, but they're really good, the remakes.
I haven't played all of them. Like I did play some of the older ones that were like just on PlayStation way back in the day. But for the newer ones where they've got like a more like normal sized girl that doesn't have like, double G boobs, I did play the first one. I know there's one that's Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and I don't remember the other one, but I did play whichever the first one was, and I haven't
Right.
played the second one. I don't remember the names, but
They're-
yeah, I
they're-
mean,
They're all real good, so they're definitely worth a play if you haven't played them, especially if you like that adventure type game. So, yeah, definitely check it out. Another game that they mentioned, which is also a Star Wars game, is Galactic Racer. That trailer looked pretty interesting. The only problem with the Ghost games are you play them for a day or two, and then you're kind of like lose interest in the racing game sometimes. Maybe this one will be a little bit better than the Pod Racer game they had before, which wasn't bad. It just kind of didn't hold your interest for a long period of time. Well, that's all we're probably going to talk about today for the Game Awards. If you didn't get a chance to watch them, you can probably go back on YouTube and then have just the highlights of the best new games released and things of that nature. Lots of videos out there covering those. There were some really good trailers worth checking out, some musical performances and things that were pretty cool with Evanescence on there. Check them out. Let us know what you think of them in the comments, what you thought your favorite trailer was, what sparked your interest the most for what's upcoming. Like and subscribe for us, and we'll talk to you the next time. Later.
peace.